Welcome, Spark. So what kind of Spark are you? Player? Creator? Or both? The stories yet to be told. The games to be made. Civilizations and societies to be formed. The universe is waiting for you to bring it to life. Now, how do we begin?
Hey, welcome everyone to a very special Project Spark stream. During this Tuesday stream, we will be showing off a brand new pack just for artists. We have two of our leads here with us to talk about this really cool new pack. We have Andy here, our art lead, and we have Brad, our design lead.
Hey.
And you know me, Brian, one of your community members, and you know
Zach
as
over
well,
here.
one of your community engagement guys also. And let's go ahead and reveal it. Zach, you want to show the marketing image to start things off?
Let's do it.
All right, so we are here to talk about the Epic Artist World Builder. This is a pack that's coming out pretty soon, actually. We're looking for it to come out on December 30th, so it's only 2 weeks away, and has a lot of really cool things in it. And the reason why we have both Brad here and Andy here to talk about it is because the two of them have been the architects behind this, and it's really cool stuff. And so I'd like to just turn it over to the two of you guys, talk about sort of the formation of this pack, where it came from, and what you hope it helps achieve.
Sure. So as some people in our community know, we've had terrain tinting capable in our game for a while, but it hasn't been exposed to the user, and so we've been planning on releasing it for a long time. But I was inspired by some of the community games I was seeing that used solid colors and creative light use to create different visual styles of games. And I noticed though that they're only able to do solid colors and stuff with props because they were using primitives, but there was no way to impact terrain that way. And I wanted to kind of feel that out, and so we have these tools in our project called tweakvars, which allow us to, for debug reasons or for figuring out what's causing issues in the game, turn off and turn on certain features. And so there is a series of tweakvars that allowed you to turn off normal maps or turn off specular maps, and the art team would use that to figure out why certain things weren't rendering properly, or if a visual artifact on something was the result of a particular type of texture technique. And it just occurred to me that we should expose those features to our users. And so so we went to the dev team and found out like how much work it would be to get those little programming hooks and expose them to the UI, and I think they actually took it a lot further than I had originally envisioned, because being an artist, I don't do a lot of coding. I just wanted those features to be exposed like in the appearance properties of our assets, but I believe you guys actually went so far as to hook up quite a bit of it to K-code.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So you said something about stuff you'd seen. What kind of stuff did you see in Project Spark that kind of...
Well, it was mostly experiments that Nini Chu was doing,
right, with colors.
Which she just continues to kind of blow my mind with how kind of unspark-like she can make games look, which I think is just it's an awesome exercise in any game engine to make something that just looks completely different from what you'd expect to see.
Right.
And certainly there are plenty of other community members doing that stuff, and I love seeing it. I just want to make it easier for people to be able to realize their dream in Project Spark without working super hard unnecessarily.
So I can say without that much exaggeration that the reason this pack was even conceived was because you saw something from the community.
Absolutely.
That's really cool.
Definitely. I mean, once Andy pointed out like the capabilities that these tweakvars would have for our players, it was a no-brainer for us to throw it on our list of things to expose. And and he wasn't. We had this in the queue for a while, and Andy has been working on some other stuff. So when we kind of showed him the pack and some of the ways that some of our engineers
do it, but it was required a lot of manual effort to do certain things, and so it was just going through and finding certain rendering tools that we have that were already affecting the game the way that we would need it to be, but exposing them to the user. And so I was basically taking screenshots of beautiful levels that we'd made internally and playing with those switches and figuring out which ones were able to generate screenshots that made the level look like a completely different world with very little effort.
It's kind of meta, right? It's like tools we use to help make Project Spark and debug Project Spark visually, we are now exposing to our players so that they can use them to express their games in their own ways.
Yeah, and what you said actually is it's a reminder that in making the game, we actually do a lot of development on stuff that it doesn't always become user-facing, and this was a great way for us to basically use work that had been done that was really valuable, and so we're always looking for ways to improve projects. And when we can do it without working from scratch, it's just a double win.
Yeah, and I mean the path from a tweak var to an in-game experience for you guys is like we have a pretty unwieldy interface that we use on the there's a lot of friction that we go through in prototype to like use these, which is totally acceptable to us because it can be hard, right? But we want to make sure it's really easy for you guys to get access to it. So even though a lot of the work for all these tweak vars was already done, there is some new stuff we built as well.
Yeah.
All the work that went into it to package this up for the pack was just finding the right way to expose it to you in the interface so that you can access it in a really easy and intuitive way.
Yeah. So let's quickly talk about one other thing that we can't show today because we don't have an Xbox setup, but the Kinect stuff that we're including in here. So Title Update 4 is going to come with some Kinect optimizations, but one of the new things that's going to be included in this pack is, so currently people who have been doing Kinect recordings, you have 60 seconds of Kinect. With this pack, people have this pack will be able to record up to 10 minutes of Kinect animation and sounds. And so 60 seconds of Kinect animation, I was able to make a village. I haven't shared it yet, but I was able to make a village with 14 characters with one-liners. And with 10 minutes, that gives me enough time to make cool sound effects, to totally populate my world with unique animations, and to do just, it's amazing what I think what people are going to be able to do with this.
Yeah, I mean, we're already seeing amazing uses of Kinect out there, like the lunar landing game. You know, like lots of fun emotes. I saw people making climbing with Kinect. It's amazing to see the variety of uses for Kinect, and so this extra 9 minutes of Kinect budget, I'm really excited to see what people do with that.
Yeah, it's amazing that I was thinking, so when I was part of the community, I was hoping for one day where we get up to 5 minutes of Kinect animation, and I was thinking at 5 minutes I could do the things I need to do in my game, but now 10 minutes, twice what I asked for. Yeah.
So not only in this pack you'll get the extra 9 minutes, but Title Update 4 also comes with a lot of bug fixes to Kinect that we've seen, that we've been encountering. So a lot of the things with if you have a max time emote, you can now play those. The budget works correctly when you crop down your animation. It only counts the cropped portion. So a lot of the bugs that we had with the Kinect preview, we were calling it, are now resolved with Title Update 4.
It's very cool. Well, so Andy, we know you're a very busy person. Being an art lead is a very busy job.
So
Yes.
Twitch just went down almost completely for everyone for 4 minutes.
Oh.
Recap of last 4 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
The entire Twitch service went down?
You
for,
can
So let's
confirm that we're back.
We
for
are.
sure?
We are
Okay.
back. Yes.
So like Twitch.tv Twitch.tv was down.
Yeah, yeah. a lot of
Oh,
the
what do you
streams
know?
just dropped.
Well, I guess we made such a cool thing that Twitch crashed.
All
Twitch found out about this thing and they said, "No way," and they crashed.
All right, I can give the elevator pitch
Okay.
of how this pack came to be. Very inspired by community levels that were done in styles that were very unspark-like through use of colored primitives and creative lighting. We wanted to expose some of those abilities, particularly in our terrain tools. And we actually had certain render tools in our internal library here that allow us to flip switches on certain textures and render modes. And we figured out a way to expose them to users. And it allows people to not just tint terrain, but to remove their normal maps or their specular maps or vary their emissivity. And you'll see some awesome demos of it today.
Yeah.
Emissive is going to be so amazing.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
just going to be,
Yeah.
I can't even imagine it.
Yeah, solid
It's gonna
colored
be so
terrain, emissive terrain, change it over time with K-code. So.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, it's 9 extra minutes for a total of 10 minutes next of both. So that's exporting of sound, animation, what have you. This is enough for people to make like a full medieval village decked out with custom characters.
Yeah.
Very cool stuff.
All right, guys. Well, sorry I got to run. But,
Thanks, Andy.
All right,
Thank you,
yeah.
Andy.
Thanks, Andy.
So
So
was
let's
Andy Zibbits,
Yeah.
our art lead for Project Spark.
So let's jump into it. Let's show you guys what you can do with. First, let's show you all of the terrain tools you unlock. Some of those we haven't talked about yet. So first, let me get back out of here to show you how this works. So you have all of these terrain slots on the bottom. With any terrain, you can, if you're on controller, hold down left bumper, and then you'll see a new option depending on whatever terrain that you're selecting at the bottom. New option to go into edit material. When you're in here, you have an option of basically you have top materials, bottom materials, and side materials, and those are all.
Can you turn on the terrain, the sound and game sounds? I guess they're back.
Oh, in-game sounds are back.
Yeah, the terrain is being incredibly noisy. There we go. We're just putting it down.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So as I was talking about,
Yeah.
with here, let's just make a sphere of terrain.
Please do.
So with terrain, how that works is you have a top portion that is designed out, which for this is the red flowers. You've got a side portion, which usually looks like a cliff. Then you have a bottom portion, which is usually kind of the inverse of what's at the top, kind of hanging down.
The roots.
Yeah, the roots, exactly. So what this allows you to do is you can actually individually select and color all these different materials. So you have top materials, bottom materials, side materials. And let's start by simply making some changes to the top materials. I want to make this just I want to make some really crazy looking grass here. I think the zanier the color, the crazier it gets. So we have a lot of different, you'll notice a lot of different channels that you can change. You have a lot of different materials, and you have a lot of different emissives. Zach, do you want to give the teacher's answer of what emissives are?
The teacher's answer of what emissives are. So, emissive is a property that anything has in the world, but almost nothing is emissive because emissive means it is casting light on something. It's a term used in game design to describe shaders, and usually it's about 0, though you can have negative emissivity if it's something that absorbs light when it's hit. And that kind of gives this weird kind of shadow effect. But emissive more or less means, is it a glow stick? A glow stick is emissive. If the part of your t-shirt that glows after it's been in the sun for a while is a little bit emissive. A light bulb is incredibly emissive. It's the amount of shininess, or not shininess, but the amount of light produced. Shininess is actually something else we won't go into.
Brad, is that?
Yeah, that's
Give me
pretty
your
close. I
definition.
mean, I wish Andy was here to answer it as well because the art guys work in that space quite a bit. But it doesn't. We're not saying that if you set your emissive up, that it's going to actually cast light around it. It's an effect in games that just makes it look like it's casting light. So if you really want it to feel like all those flowers are actually emitting light to the things that are moving through it, you can actually place lights in there as well. So you can make the flowers emissive and then also place actual lights, drop lights down, and then it'll actually cast light on the things around it. But it's basically glow.
Very cool. I'm not getting this to a color that I like. I have so many choices now where.
Well, it looks cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'm using probably the worst colors possible. I'm using like a neon green and purple and pink. But that's the crazy thing is you can make some really crazy creations with this. And so let's talk about what else you can do with terrain.
Does everybody know like what the difference is between the different channels, like what a scatter is versus?
I don't think so. So that's a good thing to talk about. So you'll notice we go into top materials and you have the scatter visible. So with all terrain, you have this a nice scatter on top of it, which you'll notice probably when you're in play or even when you're in edit mode like this. You'll have kind of these
It's
things
the flowers,
swaying back
the
and
grass.
forth. Yeah, exactly. So you have those, those things that basically the things that sway back and forth. That's the scatter. So you can turn your scatter on and off. And I'm going to turn it off to be able to show off some other really cool things you can do with this new pack, which includes scaling and scrolling. So scaling allows you to basically, you can scale things up, so you can make kind of almost a wallpaper. And I think Brad Schuber probably never thought we'd be using all of his art assets this way, but it's amazing if they're scaled up 100% how they look. They still look great. One of my favorite things to do is scaling the X and not the Y. So you get this like really
Streaks it out.
Yeah, you get this really cool streak element. And now let's show texture scrolling.
I think everyone's now their mind is blown. They haven't even seen this next
Okay,
part. I don't know what's gonna happen.
All right,
You're gonna
so
break them.
Here's the part where so when Brad first told Zach and I about this Epic Artists World Builder, when he showed us scrolling, it blew our minds.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So with scrolling, you can scroll. You can have terrain scroll, and this is, man, I cannot wait to see what people make with this. So let's go over here, and you'll see the terrain is just scrolling. Oh my God, I'm running so slow. It's so fast.
Use this
so
feature
slow.
wisely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so this is so cool. It's so cool that I have to show something that one of our designers did with it. And I'll just call this Brian's World for now. So I can come back into this. All right, so yeah, what can you make with scrolling terrain? Here's something you can make with scrolling terrain.
Brian, it can't possibly be that impressive. Oh my God!
So
Whoa.
yeah, so we changed in code. It's scrolling, but yeah, when
You haven't even talked about all this. A lot of this is accessible in code.
So when Rusty showed this to me, I couldn't believe you can, like, people can make these crazy vortexes. So imagine. So I'm thinking about Wart Andrew. He made his first Void level, Orbit 32. This level kind of talks about the Void origins.
Uh-huh.
I can't wait for him to make his next fan game using something like the Void terrain and having it scaling and making some sort of cool vortex like this. And did Twitch crash again?
It's crashing for most people, but we probably still have some people on. So you might want to slow it down, and then once we know it's up for everyone, we'll kind of move on. So this room looks really cool, right?
Yeah. Oh, it really does seem like the people saw the awesomeness of this pack and Twitch just couldn't handle it, and Twitch is like just chugging along, trying to let people see how amazing this pack is. So, and this is
Okay, we're good.
okay, cool. So this is what people can do with terrain scrolling is just it's mind-boggling what people can make with it. And the last thing to quickly show off is then what you can do with advanced terrain properties. And then Brad, I know you have some lunch to eat before you have meetings back to back.
Lots of meetings.
Yeah.
So this is the crazy part of this pack to me. We got to the last thing. It was like, oh, by the way, like I think this is huge. This next part we're gonna show.
Yeah. So
for me, at least.
So here's what, especially Nini, she's gonna love this. All of our creators are gonna love this. But so if you go into any terrain advanced appearance, you have all these different masks and maps you can turn on and off. So let's turn all of them off. And if I was smart, I would have turned off scatter also. And this terrain, like I am just picturing someone making this amazing oil painting like world with this type of terrain, making some really cool all primitive characters.
And it's really fun to mix and match the different combinations of these to get different effects, you know? Like, if you just add the normal maps on, it still has this sort of, like, painterly look to it with a little bit of detail mixed in. So
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah, and I see Nini saying, I need it. Yeah, and S&D brought up a good point that this is great for cel-shaded maps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like add a black highlight around all of your objects to make them cel-shaded, and now you can have some cel-shaded terrain in there too. Yeah, it's really, really cool stuff. Yeah, Brad, anything else to add into here?
Any questions before I go?
I think we'll be good.
Good.
I think people are still reeling from all of this stuff.
Well, we have a blog post coming, and we can answer a lot of questions there as well on projectspark.com.
Yeah, Brad, thanks so much for joining us. I think
Thank you.
I think we got some really cool stuff with this pack.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
All right,
you.
yeah. Now,
Hop on over.
yeah, now let's show a bit more off of this pack because so we've shown most of the features, but not all the features. And as Abra
Not even all the features though.
so Abra just pointed out, what's physics? So the very last of our features, and
that's not even the very last of our features.
it isn't. Oh my God, it's not.
Like I can think of 3 we haven't shown.
Okay, so what's physics? Okay, so we're including the beginnings of something else that we're going to be trying with terrain moving forward, which is terrain physics. Now, terrain physics currently, when this comes out, we're going to see how people use terrain physics, but you'll be able to with each terrain piece independently set its friction and its bounciness, and this works. This will work on all tumbling objects. It won't work on objects with character physics.
Right.
And there are a bunch of different reasons behind
But
that.
pretty much, this is what we could get in. This is setting the ground.
Exactly.
This is like the start of it. If people like it, we know we want to do more of it.
Yeah, so we have systems we can build. If we see people are really using the physics for cool things, we can put this on character physics. But for tumbling physics, there's some really cool things that we can do. Let me just type in here. Let's bring in some primitives. Alrighty, so let's bring in a primitive sphere. Let's set its physics to be tumbling.
Absolutely.
Let's bring up its bounciness. Let's say to 1.
Sure. Quite bouncy.
And then let's bring it over this terrain. Okay, so let's bring this over here.
The terrain it's on. Why would that matter, Brian?
Zach,
I'm trying my best voice.
you're a perfect sales pitch person. Okay, so right now we want to select that terrain, the coastline terrain. Let's go into physics. Let's turn its bounciness up to 1. Then let's go over to this terrain, this crazy looking primitive terrain. Let's change its bounciness down to, it already is 0. Okay, so what does that look like here? So let's jump into test mode, and now, so you see we have the non-bouncy terrain and the bouncy terrain, and this ball kind of acts like a bouncy ball on the bouncy terrain, and on the non-bouncy terrain, it's kind of done after its first bounce. And so this will allow you to basically, like, I'm thinking the cool things you can make with this is imagine making like a Super Bowl game.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
like having Super Bowls that, like, you have a goal of getting all these Super Bowls to one area, and then you have to like bounce them so they avoid certain terrain types and like bounce over other certain terrain
The
types.
pachinko machine, really good for that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and also, so this physics on the terrain. Oh, we're not done with it yet. I'm sorry.
Oh
Right,
yeah,
we
yeah.
should show all of it before I say what I was gonna say.
So let's talk about friction. We got
Okay.
terrain friction also. So again, we want to set to tumbling. And let's set the friction on this to be 0.1. All right, so let's look at the friction of this terrain.
And quick aside for people who feel like they're kind of advanced with physics, how much the friction affects an object is how much of the object is touching the terrain. Meaning squares get affected a lot more than spheres
Oh,
because
yeah.
more of their mass is, or more surface area of the whole of the object is touching the terrain.
Yeah, so that's actually a pro tip. If you've ever been playing around with Project Spark or a lot of other engines, and you have a sphere and you're wondering why isn't friction affecting this that much, it's because there's only one tiny little point it's hitting the ground in.
Yeah.
So friction affects a lot less. While
But anyways,
when you have a
we
square,
can move on from there.
yeah. So let's show what all this friction does to the square. So
Oh, that doesn't seem like it does much. It's not moving very much, Brian. That's weird.
well, actually, it should be moving more.
Really?
Yeah. So I have this. I think it didn't have the friction high enough here.
Ah.
Let's see. So we have.
I see
Oh,
how
wait a
this pitch
minute.
backfired.
Wait, I did it the wrong way around.
There we go.
Oh wait, no, I didn't.
Okay.
Okay, so 1.5 friction here.
Yeah.
And then let's just check the friction here. We have a friction of 0.6 instead of 0.
There we go.
Okay, that's why it wasn't sliding around. So now I push this, and it kind of slides around like it's on ice.
Yeah.
Super cool. So you can, like imagine taking that Arctic biome and making like an ice rink for things, and then I push it onto here, and then it just stops. It just
Almost like it's on gravel or
it just stops
really.
dead.
Yeah.
And it's like really hard to push when it's on there.
Oh,
but
did
as
you
soon
see
as
that? It actually flipped over because there was so much friction.
Yeah,
Actually,
exactly.
I hadn't seen that happen before. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
yeah, it especially helps when you're kind of setting down the friction of the object that you're working with.
Yeah.
But bam, it just stops like right there. And then I push it here, and then suddenly, woo, it's moving. So yeah, so this, I don't know, these physics are gonna, like, this is the one thing where my mind isn't wide enough to think about like the things that you can do with it, because
So talking about wide minds, right? So you have this physics of terrain, and you really want to use it, right? There's more physics options available to you from the terrain than, let's say, a normal prop. But you want a level full of props, and you can't use the physics. What do? You make all of the terrain invisible.
oh yeah, let's talk about world properties. All right, so another thing that's going to be included in this Epic Artist World Builder is you have world properties for terrain. And so with world properties for terrain, you can change basically all terrain things about everything. So one of the things you can do is turn scatter on and off. And that's just something to do because so scatter is not going to be affected by scrolling because you're scrolling the terrain texture rather than the scatter on it. So just pro tip for people who are looking at really taking advantage of the scrolling terrain, turn off the scatter because the scatter is like the living moving pieces of it. It's not the actual terrain materials that are going to be scrolling or moving. So you can turn off the scatter of every piece of terrain in your world properties. You can also make all of your terrain invisible. Your terrain is still collidable. You can still walk on your terrain, but
How about we test that? Because I don't think it really. We can talk about that, but it doesn't really settle in.
Yeah. So
We still have the physics going on.
yep. So we got this this cool crazy physics here. So I'm imagining Unfinished Swan. Did you ever play Unfinished Swan?
No.
So it's kind of there's no terrain. You just make everything. I'm done.
I'm just done.
No more reactions from me. Yeah. So let's turn terrain back on. But yeah, I mean that'll be a really cool thing where you can now kind of have some invisible terrain that you're using. Important thing is this affects all terrain. So this because it's world property, so you turn all terrain on and off right here.
Right.
But you can also all of those kind of advanced masks. You can turn those on and off here as well. So let's do that. And now, bam, we have crazy cell shaded world. Man, this is gonna be I can't wait for what people do with this. Oh, it'll be so cool.
It'll be
so
awesome.
cool what people do with this.
Eric says between a 1 and 10, this is a 14.
Right? I know. All right, so the end. Just kidding.
What? Why would we stop there?
Okay, so now let's talk about how you can do all of this stuff in terrain. Oh, okay. Quick aside. Drifties, TD, add water and lava paint. Oh my god. There is a designer made a volcano with this pack. It's so cool. In the marketing video we're going to have coming out of this, you can see that volcano. You don't need lava anymore. You just need this pack. This pack is lava.
This pack is love. This pack
Really?
is a lot of things.
Yeah. Okay, so why was I in this guy's brain early on? It's because all this stuff you can mess around with in code too. It's not just stuff you set in settings. You can mess around in code. So let's first start out with some world properties. So we're gonna do when I'm pressing the A button. So you're gonna have this whole new terrain properties section under world properties. So let's make all of these false. What's going on in chat?
We would make Billy Mays proud, Brian.
Indeed.
But wait!
But wait, there's more. But seriously, when we were going through this pack, we were being told, we were saying, okay, this is amazing, and the designers kept on saying, no, guys, there's more. It's not it. Hold on. Hold your horses. Okay, so when I'm holding down the A button, I turn all these things off. When I'm not holding down the A button, then let's turn all these guys on. Oops. So what I'm basically doing is all those advanced properties I'm now changing in code. So if in case people didn't hear, because Twitch may have been down at that time, this is releasing on December 30th. So Tuesday, December 30th. So basically, after you've had all your Christmas gifts,
Right.
we have an after Christmas gift for you, or after holidays gift.
Indeed.
It's almost a Boxing Day gift.
Almost.
We should
Except
make
really
Boxing
not.
Day more of a thing. Except for it's not on Boxing Day. I love talking about Boxing Day because I do love Boxing Day. So anyways, let's jump in and let's test. Walking around, so let's press the A button and bam, A button press, it all changes. You notice it's lickety split, just everything changes. Bam,
Super performant,
bam.
super quick.
Yep. Yeah. So it works just really well. So you can do this with a lot of world properties and make some crazy,
Oh God, stop.
some seizure-inducing things. Yeah. Okay. I'll stop with the seizures. Okay. So I wrote down notes for myself because I knew I'd get off track here. So what did I have doing as the second thing to show you in code? Okay. Let's set terrain colors in code. So we're gonna do when I press the X button, So here's actually a cool thing I'm just going to show you guys as an aside is how do you randomly generate color. So we are going to set a number variable where I'm going to call it random color. We're going to set that to be equal to between 0 and 1. No, wait. I forgot to do this. Okay, random number between 0 to 1. So what this basically is doing is it's setting a random number that goes anywhere between 0 and 1. And then, here's how you interact with individual terrain. You go into values, you'll see this terrain materials, and you can now go to any one of these terrains. We're going to choose the coastline. Once you choose one of those terrains, you now have a myriad of different options.
I think it's a myriad, but whatever. Maybe it's a myriad too. We have both. This pack has that.
I like to call it myriad.
Okay.
Even if that is not how everyone calls it, myriad. Okay, so let's change the color of this. So material slot 5, we're going to change the top. We could change everything.
Lady Laren just came in. What did I miss?
Oh, Lady Laren, you missed a lot. But don't worry, for everyone who missed the beginning of this is all going to go up on YouTube also. So the cool thing is we change around the color slots so that it's a lot easier for people to change around color slots. We just have a solid color that you can change where you change every color. We have a primary color, secondary color, tertiary color. So we're going to just do solid color for now, so we just change everything to a certain color. Then we do color properties, hue. So the hue of an object is its color, actually, and it's between a 0 and a 1. So when I'm running this random number, whatever the number is between 0 and 1, that's actually a color. So we're now going to do a hue, and we're going to make that equal to this random color. And I'm just going to change that to when X is pressed. So now what this is going to do is it's going to, basically every time it's pressed, I set a random number of a color, and then my material slot 5, its hue changes to that random color. So let's jump into test. Okay, so I'm running around, so let's start testing. Bam, bam, bam. So you may be wondering, the scatter color is not changing because in all of our testing, we found that when you're working with scatter, changing the properties of scatter because each individual piece of scatter is kind of so far apart, it brings down your game performance to a 0 or a 1, to running a 1 frame or 0 frame. So that's something where we are looking at actually going back and to make this pack even more valuable. Actually rebuilding this system to allow for some new cool things you can do with scattering in code. I was not on the right thing. Okay, so let's jump back in here. So now I'm changing basically all of the color
Right.
here.
And you can still change the scatter before you play.
Yeah, so you can change the scatter outside of code. Specifically, the reason we did not make changing the scatter in code is because if you're changing the scatter, it's very performant. Would take a lot of performance to be able to do that, and your game will slow down to 1 frame or crash. So we're working on
Slowing down to 1 frame and crashing is not a great thing.
Exactly.
It really isn't.
So scatter, keep that to changing properties rather than in-game, but everything else you can change in-game. So let's go back into a character, and instead of just doing the solid color, let's change a bunch of his different colors. So we got primary color, we have secondary color, and then we have his tertiary color. And let's make all of these different random number variables. So we got random 2, and then let's make random number 3.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Y'all gonna set them between 0 to 1. We're all gonna make them different colors.
Yep. All right. So now.
That was all top though. Oh, you're right. No.
No,
it's all
we're good.
Yep.
So now, bam. I
every
changed.
single layer or every single color slot in this first one, or not every single one, but nearly, is getting changed.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, yeah, you can. It's can get pretty trippy. So let's look at what else you can do in code. So I got my handy dandy sheet right here. Let's talk about terrain scaling and how that looks like in code.
Now this is amazing. It's not something we spent a ton of time on, but the fact that you can do this in real time in K-code, I think really, really is what makes the terrain scaling. I mean, admittedly, if you could just scale terrain, it would be awesome. But this, I can't really describe it. You have to see it.
Yep.
You have to. So I'm gonna let Brian show you. But this brings it from, oh, that sounds like it could be useful, to I can't even imagine.
You won't believe what you'll see when Brian does blah blah blah. Okay, so when right trigger is pressed, I'm scaling up my terrain. Then when left trigger is pressed, I'm going to scale down my terrain. So you scale your terrain by both X and Y vectors, because your terrain is on a flat surface.
That means you could make it very stretchy, like bands, if you wanted to.
Exactly. So
Let's see it.
Whoa, I'm shrinking. And whoa, things are getting small. I'm getting huge. I'm Goliath. Oh wait, no, I'm the same size. Oh my god, the world is expanding around me.
This is
And
this
the
is
other,
pretty
yeah,
crazy.
so the other cool thing is, so basically right here, if terrain were to scale more, things would go out of whack. So what we do actually is we loop it. So things scale back down. Once you get up to a certain point, it will basically, it'll loop back around to keep terrain from kind of going out of whack. So if you want your terrain to basically be at this top amount, you'll have to set kind of a clamp on it to hit this exact amount. But yeah, it's, man, like, so I'm just thinking about like the world shrinking around you.
I can't stop thinking about different things you could do.
Yeah.
You could make like a little village. Like you could have like a miniature set in your normal like walking around. It's like, oh, let's check out this miniature table, right? And then you just have everything scaled down. That's so obvious. You could also do crazy things. Like you could have different terrain levels and kind of make a parallax background and an infinite runner. You could use K-code to kind of animate that terrain. It'd be insane.
Yeah. So here's a cool thing you can do. You can bump terrain with a specific material slot. So it code will understand what material slot you're bumping and will do certain things with that material slot. So let's have this terrain start scrolling when you're bumping it. So we're going to set the Y scroll to be equal to, let's make it 0.5. And we're going to set an else, because we're going to say basically when you're not bumping, then this is going to be, this is going to stop scrolling. Okay. So now this is setting when you're bumping that terrain, that terrain's going to start scrolling.
So they don't. Okay, so K-code is something we refer to around here that I guess has.
Oh, it's code with a K.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
code with a K.
Because our code has a K in it.
So K-code is
kind of comes from Kodu. So anyways, all this terrain looks like regular average terrain.
I'm sure if you walked on that,
Whoa!
nothing would.
I'm going so fast. Oh my god. Now you can also do, instead of just bump terrain, I'm gonna set it so that when I'm moving, then it's scrolling. And so this is a cool way to make yourself look like you're really moving fast. All right, so things are looking good. Now I start walking, and whoa, I'm walking so fast, but it's taking so long to get there, and whoa, I'm walking so slow now. And then, bam, it just stops.
I love the dialogue, Brian.
I want to get to be like BJ with the sound effects. So yes. So now, All right, just remember that thing there.
Okay.
All right, so another thing I want to show you guys is that you can the ability to set top and side is really crucial. And here is why. So we're going to do material for sides, and we're going to set this to material for sides as well. And so now let's jump back into test. And so now, just the cliffs are moving.
Oh, that's so. Dude, you could color.
Oh
that
my
like
God! That
water
looks like
and-
it looks like a waterfall,
Yeah, it
like
really does.
a planetary waterfall.
Oh.
Yeah. So I mean, this is going to make. We already know this is going to make the trippiest games anyone has ever made in Project Spark by far. So yeah, this is. I mean, the things that people are going to make in this are really cool. So let's do last thing I want to show is how you can change around the physics properties of terrain. So let's go back to this material slide.
Well, I think we've gotten the best endorsement we could ever possibly hope for.
Ooh.
Nothing about this pack annoys Airside.
What?
I know.
Oh my God! No. Hey.
I know.
Let's see. What do I? Oh, right. It's not just top. It's I want to do physics and gameplay. Let's change the bounciness. Okay, so let's instead change this to when I'm hitting right bumper, then material bounciness. I'm going to increment that by 0.01. And when I hit the left bumper, then I'm going to decrement material bounciness by 0.1. So let's also just show material bounciness so you guys can follow along with me. And so what I'm basically doing is I'm making it so that in code I can affect how bouncy this terrain is. And this allows you to kind of on the fly change around your terrain, change around its physics, how it interacts with tumbling objects. So display material bounciness. Let's set where it's displaying that. I want to do top right. And just so you can all see well. Oh, wait. You won't be able to see because of the overlay. So let's actually set this to screen
That's
center.
okay. Someone knows how to turn off the overlay here.
Oh, well, that's fine. I can just set it to screen center.
Oh, hello, other overlay. Let's turn off the overlay we're using.
And so, okay, so I'm displaying it. So let's set this up with this ball so you can really see how it has an effect on objects. So we still have this ball that's bouncy. So I'm just going to add an extra thing in here that when I'm holding down on the Y button, then I'm going to push this ball in direction world up. And the reason I'm doing that is I am basically just having this ball rise so I can mess around with its bounciness. So in real time, I can make it rise and fall just so I can show how bouncy it is. Because if your ball is starting on the ground, bounciness doesn't matter because it's not already bouncing. So I just want to do that to make it so that so I can show that to you guys. Okay. Something in this guy's broken. What's broken? Oh, strength instead of strong. Okay. So let's jump in here. All right, so you see we have a bounciness of 1. Let's start bringing that down. And he kind of tapers off. So the ball's like tapered off to not being bouncy at all. But it's really high friction, so the ball moves kind of like crazy. Actually, that can actually affect my experimentation. I want the ball to just bump up and down.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's
actually...
it's almost like it's hitting like a ton of gravel, and so the way it
yeah.
bounces is
So actually,
kind of
this is where friction comes into play. You see, I had to change the friction to get this ball to do what I wanted it to do. Okay, so bring it down, taper off the bounciness, and now, oops, I hit X. Now, let's bring up the bounciness. So you can bring bounciness over 1, and It gets bouncier and bouncier
So physically impossible.
and bouncier and bouncier, and then it tapers off there, but then it gets bouncier and bouncier and bouncier. So I found in all my messing around with this, I have found that setting, if you want something super bouncy, like a 2.5 is a really nice super bouncy rating. So you can set in code your terrain to be 2.5 bounciness, and it gets really bouncy. Sometimes you might have things just fly up in the world. So we can just increase it even more, and it just goes crazy. So yeah, that's just something that you can do with terrain. Okay, so let's see. We still have 7 minutes. So that means I think we have enough time to make a game with this.
Oh yes, of course.
All right, so I'm actually, because we only have
Actually, you might want to just load in.
yeah, because we only have 7 minutes, I'm going to show you just something that I made. I made this in literally 5 minutes. I just called it the future.
The future.
Yeah, I mean this
the
pack had me
sound?
so excited that I just went crazy with all my spellings. Okay, so here's what I set up. I set up a world where the terrain constantly moves.
Can I just play it?
Yeah, you can just play it.
I have not gotten a chance to play this game.
All right, so in this, your character is actually not moving at all. Just the terrain is moving. So it looks like you're moving, but just the terrain is moving. I've locked his X and Y, his X and Z vectors, so his Y still works. And if you accidentally bump one of those little blocks, go ahead and bump it.
Okay.
Bump that one. Bam! The terrain changes. So if you bump one of those accidentally, the terrain changes to a random color. So the immediate thing I first thought of before I saw Rusty make that amazing void vortex, I thought of just how people can use this to make endless runners that really are endless, because you're not actually moving; everything's
Yeah,
moving around
absolutely.
you.
So here's the crazy part, just to kind of illustrate, if you don't mind.
By the way, when you're scrolling on terrain that's moving, man, even that's really cool.
Where is your character here?
Yeah, so I got my character
Yeah,
down
okay,
there.
cool. So that is not moving. That's actually just to have an object kind of relative to what's going on here. So you can see this block is actually, doesn't have any weird physics. The block to my right is just completely stationary, and nothing in this level is actually moving.
Well, yeah, if you bump against one of those things, it's going to slightly change your position because it's trying to push you backwards, and you're trying to then reset your position.
Yeah.
But
Aside from that, that's
Yeah.
very minimal.
you can make an endless runner right now, as Rody and Woozy has actually made an endless runner right now. He's for those of you who don't know, Rody and Woozy has currently, I think, the most downloaded and the second top rated Game Jam entry with his endless runner. This is just making it even easier to make an endless runner. So before, making an endless runner with terrain was a bit harder for people. Now, with the terrain actually moving, it's dead simple to make an endless runner.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see. I'm sure this brain is going to have almost no code in it, right? I mean, how many
So yeah,
lines?
basically in my brain,
120.
the only thing that I did is I locked my Z vector and my X vector, and I just had my guy constantly moving. That thing, all I have is that it moves towards the guy. When it bumps them, it sets a random color for the terrain, and then I just have that logic cube randomly spawn a cube.
Yeah, super easy, super easy.
Yeah. So
Okay, I have to do this because I think I'm going to go insane. So I feel like this has to happen.
what?
That comes with the Wanderer brain, right?
Oh no. She has the follower brain.
Let's
So it
see.
changes.
Yeah.
Oh, just have her walk around on it. Yeah, go for it.
So-
If you were to just chosen, wait, go back, get out of there.
Yeah.
Just choose that guy from
Oh, okay.
instant select. He has Wanderer brain.
Okay, so we'll have a little buddy here, and he will really freak us out.
What? Oh, that's so great. He's unaffected by all this stuff that's going on. He's like, what are you doing over there? Oh, I'm just doing endless runner. Oh, okay. Love that.
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. So you can see that what you can do with this pack is pretty insane.
Yeah. So, oh, yes, you can edit empty terrain too.
This is old chat, already been answered.
Oh, it has? Okay, sorry.
No problem.
Yes, you can edit empty terrain. You can edit every type of terrain.
Yes, absolutely. So I know we always say this, but we mean it. I can't wait to see what you guys create with this.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, just the stuff that we did in the few hours of testing with this, just Zach and I, has just been amazing.
It's been great.
What I saw Rusty, one of our designers, come up with that vortex, and also the volcano with the lava, and he made that in just a few days, or few minutes.
Okay.
In a few days.
He escalated quickly. Okay.
Took him 800 hours to make it. No, it took him it took him like a few minutes to make that vortex.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm so excited for what you guys are gonna make with this. I'm genuinely excited to play with all of these creations you guys make. And also back button works on back button will work with deleting or undoing terrain.
Yeah.
If that was the question, Black Power. Sorry if it wasn't.
Please demonstrate lava. You'll have to wait. You'll have to wait through the video. It's coming.
Yeah, I don't want to give it away, because once you see the video, it does it so much more justice than I can.
Can you edit this level real quick? I just can't even.
Yeah,
I'm having a hard time conceptualizing. Oh my god.
I know the crazy thing is it moves in edit mode too. So it's here. Let's move this guy. Oops, I did not want to copy him. All right, let's move him off of here to step on the terrain. What?
Whoa. Yeah, this is pretty.
And so what we're doing is we're slowing down and speeding up the terrain scrolling within code. So another thing I can do is
There's another vortex.
Yeah, there's another vortex. Yeah.
Whoa, that vortex is crazy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he wanted to try out just like a few different vortexes.
Whoa! Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Yeah, okay. Someone's gonna puke at some point. I just hope we catch it on camera. I don't know how that could not happen. Looking at all this,
right? Oh, that's so cool. He chose the
Arctic.
Yeah, he has snow and he has grass playing nicely with each other.
Yeah, quite cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So
I think that is our time indeed, Brian.
Yeah. So we really cannot wait. I mean, we've said this possibly 60 times during this live stream, but we cannot wait for when we release this and what you guys do with it. Again, it's coming out on December 30th, so it's really only 2 weeks away. The price is not set yet for this. We'll tell you the price when we have it. We think you guys will be pretty happy with it. So anyways, maybe I shouldn't have said that. So yeah, so just get ready.
Get ready.
Get ready for what you guys can do with this pack.
Yeah. Can you make the terrain?
And you can make terrain invisible with code also.
You can do that. Okay, guys. Well, thank you.
What's insurance going to do with damage caused by puking players?
Probably nothing.
Yeah.
That said, we have been streaming this whole time, so even though Twitch did have some issues and we did lose stream a couple times, if you want to watch it from beginning to end, when we upload this to YouTube, which will happen later today, it should all be one video.
Yep.
Since we did not restart the stream on our end, you should be able to watch it all the way through. So if that was annoying, you missed something because your stream was down, sorry about that. We can only control so much, but you should be able to get the full video on YouTube later today.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And with that said, like, follow, tweet, all the social media things. Do those.
Yep.
just want.
Whoa! Oh my god, it looks so crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it looks so crazy. One thing Brian had been doing as well is he has been trying to make terrain a sky.
Oh yeah. So you can use terrain by the way to make a sky for yourself.
Right.
It's like we can't stop. We can't end this stream because we can't stop talking about this pack. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's time.
I know.
It is-
Yeah,
it is
and
time.
price not set. It'll be fair. But yeah, you'll also notice these are all the same terrain
Yeah.
in different slots.
Right.
So
So they all go different ways and do different things, and
Yep.
it's pretty amazing.
exactly. So yeah. So we hope you guys enjoyed this. Just quick housekeeping on what else you can look forward to as streams. We got our Thursday stream at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. During that Thursday stream, we're gonna have some people on and be playing Game Jam levels,
Yeah.
and also showing off Troll Bridge, which is coming out this week.
Yep.
And then on Friday, we'll also be streaming Game Jam entries as well.
Yeah,
to
and
see...
Troll Bridge, I think a lot of people said they're wondering if the bridge was 2 separate pieces. We have...
Yeah. We'll show more off on Troll Bridge later, but it's not just a troll and one bridge. There's a lot of different pieces
Yep.
that go in there. So I think people will be super happy when they see some of the props that are included within that pack. So this is gonna be every Weed Smokers pack.
It's a family
yeah.
show, Brian. You can
I
read
know.
it. You're not supposed to repeat it.
I know. Well, I think he was talking about like dandelions.
Right, okay,
which
yes.
Don't smoke those. Those are I think they're carcinogenics.
Yeah, also...
So don't do that.
Yeah,
guys.
no.
Yeah.
Flowers are pretty. Keep them on the ground.
so
With
yeah.
that said, I am now going to silence you.
Okay. Yep.
And we are going to say goodbye.
And-
Again, this is Spark Zach. Spark Brian, because he's no longer talking. We'll
Yeah.
see you guys on Thursday. Also, we have the State of Spark, a forum post that we do weekly next week. And check out the new featured levels on the feature feed, which were yesterday. Can't wait to talk to you guys more. And we will leave you with our outro to our beautiful...
Back button in-game is input. Not yet. Sorry, Black Power. Sorry. I'm sorry.
See you guys.
Create your game as you play? Any Spark can do it. Spark, activate the portals.